Welcome everybody. We are live here in Formula 1. Now if you've just been with us, you would have just seen that we've just opened our F7R 2 account in round 1 here in Zandvoort, and I gotta say it was a really good race. Hasbraz, can I jump in? I think you and Briz were asking. I don't know. I don't know if the team principals have got anybody jumping in. Let me have a look. Who are we missing? So we've got a Racing Bull missing. So I'd probably suggest just quickly messaging Zora to see if he's got anybody, because I know he's just sacked Pele back. And then the other one is a Red Bull, is it? Is it a Red Bull? Yeah, it's a Red Bull, so Jennifer's in here. So potentially invest DJ Harvey as well, DJ Harvey. DJ Harvey will probably tell you to jump in, knowing DJ, to try and, you know, because but he's big on drivers not DNFing. So Epic OJ has just retired for the sprint qualifying, but yeah, that F2 race was really enjoyable. If you can look at our billboards in the race, you can see that they have got the F7R2 logo all around them, promoting our very new F2 tier that will run directly in front of F1. We managed to get the F1 running by 7:09, which I think is a very good job considering it's our very first time doing this and putting them back to back, and it's 3 hours of commentary for me as well. So it's a lot. It is a lot. So, and I think we've done a really good job. The drivers were amazing. They retired when they were supposed to retire. They finished when they were supposed to finish, and so on and so on. And then the F1 guys jumped straight in and went on, and it was just really nicely executed. We need about a 15-minute buffer, really. If realistic, could start at 7:15, or if F2 could start at 6:15. 6:15 is a push sometimes, because on the very rare occasion I might not be home for 6:15. So Jeffy, a 109.500 for the Red Bull driver to set the benchmark here in Zandvoort. Super Turbo, a 110.3, the same as CJ, a 110.3. Then we've got Nick back on track, the Sauber driver. So that is XD Storms has crashed it. He's crashed it through sector 2. Sector 1, sorry. Yes, Nick is back on track after being sacked from Red Bull earlier this season. He is back with Sauber, and Kaz has now been promoted to the Ferrari seat, and Mitch is out of a seat. Very surprised to see Mitch out of a seat. I thought he was doing quite well. He turned up to 8 of the races. I was really surprised to see him lose it. I weren't surprised, then I was. I didn't think Ferrari would sack him. But then I can see with the results and stuff why they may have. So CJ is in the gravel. The Sauber driver. Ooh, that was close. Yeah, good awareness there from CJ. Oh, and that was a Williams that just nearly went into the back of him. That was deadly. Deadly has been amazing in the Williams. I can see him going into a big seat next season. As we say that commentator's curse as he goes on to the gravel. Reese in the Ferrari, fighting for the championship. I've not had a chance to update the points, so if you guys can give me a minute, if you don't mind, I will try and do that right this second so we can bring it up on screen throughout the race. So I will leave this on a second. Oh no, I'm not going to be able to do that, but if you want to give me a second, I can try and quickly whip them up so that we can grab them in the race. So I'll just driver standings. So bear with me, drivers standings. It's got the tiered drivers. Yeah, it might be a bit much to ask this to do it all in. I'll just do the top 5 then. No, I forgot that it's going to bring up all the things. Right, it don't matter. It don't matter. Right, so we go back to the race. I do apologise, I didn't have time to do it. So apologies for that. I did want to bring it up though. I might start it right at the start of the qualifying before the feature race and see if we can get it So Casper is currently on provisional pole. It's Cars, Reese in P2 and Cars in P3. 3 1,000 separate them two. Then comes B Right, Merkel, Hackmore and Fanfinus. Leo Lund is on a lap at the moment. The Racing Bull coming down towards the line. And I think, yeah, it's a 1:21.5. So not the lap he was hoping for. No, it isn't. He's not even been on a lap. Now he's on a lap with that DRS kicking in. So the championship contender in the Racing Bull has he's already said I can race. Right, okay. Oh, that's a bit sketchy. So Leo Lund coming through turn 8 in towards turn 9 for the driver, currently sitting second in the Drivers' Championship. Yes, you heard that right. 164 points is what Leo Lund is on. 178 is what B Right is on. Reese on 146, and then Merkel 125. Casper 119. Casper's done an amazing job, considering he's given quite a few of the points away, especially when he was reserving. So Leo Lund through turn 13, you can see who's got the fastest sectors so far. The McLarens pipping 2 and 3, the Ferrari pipping 1. Here we go, the Racing Bull down towards line. Who can put it all together though? The Racing Bull goes P4, a 1:08.684. A little wiggle of the wheel there from Leo Lund. Just under 5 minutes remaining here in Formula 7 Realistic. CJ 3000 in the Sauber coming around turn 12. I did jinx him. So here comes CJ around turn 14, and then it's the run up to the line. And if you just watched F2, it was an amazing run up to the line. A driver won by 2/100ths of a second going down towards the line, so it was an absolute cracker. Every single driver now back into the pit lanes with 4 minutes remaining. And remember, it is a sprint race here tonight. So early tomorrow. I've got to open up the building at work for all of the drivers, but that means the drivers get in at 6 AM, but I've got to open up the building at 5, so I've got to be at work for 4:45, so it means I've got to get up at 4 AM. So yeah, I definitely need to get my head down after this. So that is Leo Lund into the pit lane. Casper is now back out. Yoich Yorn just started following you. Is he okay? All these years, a world champion, and never even followed me. So the McLaren of Casper will be the first of the final runners here in the Netherlands. I do apologise if you were hoping for the brake billboards as well. I didn't get round to doing them. So Casper will get us underway. No, he won't actually. No, he's going to do another cool down lap. Did you hear what? Is it a sprint weekend? It is, Mr. Reese. I actually forgot. You know what I think's happened? I'm going to be completely honest. I changed the calendar, yeah. So when we started F2, I changed the calendar and brought one of the weeks forward and put a break somewhere else. And when I did that, I think I messed up the sprints. So I put Spa as one of the sprints, and I think I took one of the sprints off Zandvoort or something like that. And then I realised I never changed it on the calendar, so it looked like it was back-to-back sprints. Did you hear what I didn't? No. So yeah, I think I messed up. I don't think it was supposed to. It was and it wasn't supposed to be a sprint. So Casper on another cooldown. Is Hackmore on another cooldown? No, he is on a flyer now. You can see the MFV billboards to the left and to the right. That is the new Assetto Corsa endurance racing that we'll be doing once a month with 3 massive partners. That'll be running for 7 months until LMU comes out, and then we'll be moving to LMU endurance racing with them 3 partners as well. So make sure you stay tuned for that. If you are on console and you want to get involved, all you need to do is let me know. I will add you to a team. You can then add your 2 teammates, whoever that may be, or you can find 2 that are signed up and create an endurance team to go racing. It will start at the end of May. And then we've got obviously LMU. Le Mans races on a Monday. We have Assetto Corsa that races fortnightly on a Friday. We have realistic F1 and F2 now on a Wednesday, and then Sunday is packed with your tiered racing. Casper now on a flyer. He is 2 tenths up on his lap time. Mirko, a 108.3 for the Mercedes driver. That is a cracker of a lap from the young Italian driver. There goes Fanfredo, the world champion. The checkered flag is now waved. Here comes the Ferrari of cars to the line, and he takes provisional pole on his debut for Ferrari. Casper will take it right back off him though. Sweden versus the Netherlands. But who's going to put a thorn in the side of these drivers? Super Turbo, the San Marino, and then the Canadian of J's goes P11. There goes Nick in the Sauber up to P9. The other Ferrari of Reese, to the line he goes. Where's he going to put it? P2 for Reese. He goes in front of his teammate. B-Right goes P5. A 108.3 is extremely close here. Leo Lund coming through turn 12 and 13. He is improving. He's got Hackmore just behind him. Jeffy Boy in the Red Bull to the line. Goes P8. Hackmore and Leo Lund to come next. Leo in the Racing Bull out of turn 14. Down to the checkered flag we go. Leo goes P4. How close is this? Hackmore will go P8. Fanfredo will not improve. And Casper will take pole position here in Zandvoort. Thank you, Dark Lord Dale, for the follow. Really appreciate it, mate. So Casper, the man from Sweden, has taken pole position here in Zandvoort. I just need to put these stats in, just bear with me. So it is Casper, then it is Reese, then it is Cars, Leo, Mirko, B-Right, then we've got Fanfredo, Hackmore, Deadly, Jeffy. Here's the Sauber, that is Nick in P11. And then CJJ's Parallax, Trubo, Lewis. Who's in the Racing Bull in 17? Oh, Jabba. And then comes XD Storms and Epic OJ. Brilliant. Right, all the standings are done. So the drivers just getting ready. Remember our socials there on the billboards. Formula 7 Racing on TikTok and YouTube. Every single race goes onto YouTube straight after we have streamed it here on Twitch. And they are all in a playlist ready for your viewingship. So remember, it is a decent track here in Zandvoort. Let's have a look at it. So Zandvoort here in the Netherlands, a 2.646 mile track with 14 turns, 2 DRS detection zones, and the speed trap going down in towards turn 1. Quite a flat surface with 14 beautiful corners to navigate around. The Netherlands is a flat surface anyway. I think it's the closest country to sea level in the world, so you're not going to get many elevations, but you do get some, so it can be a little bit tricky when you're going onto that throttle. But yeah, very good circuit here in Zandvoort. Casper will get us underway. There is 3 DSQs, 2 of them being Alpines and 1 being the Racing Bulls. So they will have cold tyres at the start of this race. I have messaged RLT to see what we can do about the F2, because apparently the app doesn't let you put any more than 20 drivers in, but we have 21 on the grid. Alright, y'all, I'm just seeing that you followed me on TikTok after 3 years. Thank you very much. So, here we go for round 12 here in Netherlands for the Zandvoort Grand Prix here at Formula 7 Realistic, powered by Sim Racing Setups. And it's lights out and away we go. Casper in the McLaren got a good start. So did Reese up the inside, but his teammate of Cars is going to go wheel to wheel with him. Up the inside goes Reese. There's a yellow flag behind. That's B-Right and Fanfness. And it's the McLaren that is fighting for his position against the Mercedes down in towards turn 3 at the home Grand Prix. And there's a Mercedes and Fanfness loses the race. Wow, he held on to that. That was incredible. Epic OJ did not move off the line and disqualified himself. That is Nick that is through on CJ. The 2 Saubers swapping places. Fanfness, the Dutchman, down to P7 as B-Right fends off any challenges. Here comes Leo Lund up the inside of Cars, the Racing Bull and the Ferrari as we head in towards turn 10. No DRS until the next lap. F1 Parallax is through on CJ. Super Turbo is there. Mirko in the Mercedes watching this scrap unfold in front as they are starting to get their elbows out. I'm only joking, y'all. So Casper leads by 4 attempts to restart. That is Super Turbo that is through on CJ. CJ on the inside. Whoa, that was close. And I'm sure they knew it as well. Here comes Leo Lund in the Racing Bull. Mirko on his tail. B-Right, Fanfness, Hackmore, Deadly, Jeffy, all still locked in that DRS. There goes Lewis back on the track. A big shout out to Lewis. He was he'd give up his seat in McLaren, which massively helped them out earlier on in the season, and he's been given another opportunity to showcase his skills, and he has got skills, Lewis W, and he is in the Aston Martin now. And it's a good job he was he never left his seat. He never left his seat because he wouldn't have been able to race. So XD storms into the pit lane already on lap 2. Yeah, it was close then. Here comes F1 Parallax on Nick Williams, looking for a cheeky little move, but that did not help the exit out of turn 10, and that might have compromised him going in towards 11. It doesn't, so well played there by F1 Parallax. Here comes the 2 Ferraris. They are looking very strong here, the Scuderia duo. You can see Leo Lund just in the distance behind 8 attempts. They will have DRS though. Here comes Reese Dye on the McLaren. He is going to defend. And the Papaya is squeezing that Scuderia out to the left hand side. Now it's getting tasty as we head in towards the hairpin. It will be Reese that takes the lead of the Netherlands Grand Prix. Will Cars get involved and try to help out his teammate through the S's at turn 4, 5 and 6? And still there is nothing to separate them. They are locking horns here in the Netherlands. Around turn 8 we go, and it is the Ferrari of Reese that takes the lead of the Grand Prix in the sprint race. That was a great exchange between the pair of them. So Casper now in that Ferrari sandwich. Mirko, Be Right, Fanfresh. Remember, Be Right is your championship leader. Leo Lund in P2, Reese in P3. This is not a good position for Be Right to be in, but it is only the sprint race. So out of turn 14, look how close they are, and the McLaren is going to come back at the Ferrari with that DRS. Cars slows down, and that opens up the door for Leo Lund, and if that's what you're going to do, expect the driver behind to take his opportunities, because if you're going to slow down, the driver in front definitely isn't. Here comes the Mercedes, and around the outside goes the Racing Bull. He's going to send him the long way, but he can get his foot down so much quicker. Leo Lund with a fantastic overtake here in Zandvoort. That was incredible. Rigsdal is in P2. What about Mirko, the little Italian? He wants an opportunity to showcase his skills. Phenomenal racing. Epic OJ, the only driver out of this race through a DSQ, not moving off the line. 5 million quid for Alpine, done and dusted for them very easily. So Leo is up to P3, Be Right down in P6, seeing both his championship rivals in a podium position is not going to help him. And he's going to be thinking about this all the way down to the checkered flag. We are about to head on to lap 5 as Casper leads the way once again. That is F1 Parallax and Super Turbo. Super Turbo losing a few places. He's made a mistake, and it's his relatively home Grand Prix. He does reside in the Netherlands. Here comes Lewis on Nick. What about CJ as well? The Aston Martin driver going battling with another Dutchman. There's a lot of drivers that are on this grid that are from the Netherlands. Cars, Fanfresh, Nick, Super Turbo. So yeah. That is XD Storms in the Alpine. Oh, I nearly forgot about... Oh no, Casper's Swedish, sorry, my apologies. That is Jabba on Super Turbo. Look at this from the Racing Bull. Oh, and he tried to turn in there, Super Turbo. Did he get damage? He did. He's got front wing damage. And as easy as that, the race can go from bad to worse. Casper now 8 tenths clear of Reese. Let's have a look at the tyres. 24% for Casper on them hards, and Reese 28% on them mediums. So Casper is committed to the hard compound tyre here, and it might have just helped him. Leo Lund is also on the mediums, so's Cars. Mirko and Be Right are both on the hards. That might be the difference in getting some points at the end of this race, choosing to go on to the hard compound strategy. And that is Jay's through on Super Turbo, who's into the pit lane. CJ on F1 Parallax. So we can have a look at the last laps for the drivers. And that is Mirko on the Cars, the Mercedes and the Ferrari. That is a yellow flag. And that is Cars that is through on Mirko. That was extremely close, but there was a driver around there. I think it was Jabba. XD Storms. It was Jabba. Casper is now a second clear. Reese is going to lose DRS, and that means that Leo Lund is going to be given an opportunity here on the back of that Scuderia to take P2. Yes, Reese is not able to stay with Casper. Their mediums are starting to fall off. We know how much these Ferraris have struggled with their tyres. Oh, Cars is round, Leo Lund is round, Mirko is through, Be Right is through. My goodness me. Leo Lund has held on to P4. Here comes Fanfresh with a huge lunge up the inside of the McLaren. These two championship competitors from last season, where Fanfresh came out on top and was crowned world champion. Be Right is trying to keep him away. The Aston Martin of Hackmore is now starting to get closer. The McLaren and the Mercedes are really going toe to toe. Leo Lund held on to P4. Reese will be grateful that that's all he held on to. Here comes Hackmore on Be Right, smashes up the inside of Fanfresh as well. Aggressive driving, and Be Right is round. He's losing more places. This is getting extremely scrappy. All I see is dive bombs left, right and centre. What is going on here? A very scruffy race. The Red Bull back down the inside. And these are losing a tremendous amount of time between the drivers behind. And look, what is that from Fanfiners? A massive lunge up the inside to take P4 away from Leo Lund. That is a yellow flag. Jeffy Boy's out in the pit lane, but he was in the points. And look at this Ferrari back down the inside again. Another lunge up the racing ball. What is this racing? Cars is on to the gravel, the Ferrari, and I mean that was expected, to be honest, from that ridiculous driving that we've just seen over the last 2 laps. It's no surprise that one of them have ended off going off track. They were just completely lunging up the inside of every single one of the drivers. I have no idea what was going on. Leo Lunders ended up with wing damage. There's another yellow flag. That is a driver that's driven off. Yeah, he's onto the gravel there. That is Jabba. And this sprint race has gone from being incredible to a bit controversial here. I mean, that driving was utterly ridiculous, what we've just seen there. Here comes B Right on Leo Lund. Remember, these two are in a championship fight. And what doesn't help now is, well, it helps Reese. But the Ferrari... the Mercedes and the Aston Martin have got a lot to answer for in them exchanges. There goes Deadly around the outside of B Right, who's going to lose a position to the Williams. There goes CJ on Lewis W. Oh, and CJ, wow, nearly sideswipes the Aston Martin there, does the Sauber. And Leo Lund, oh, and that is Jabba now out. Leo Lund, with no front wing, is slowing down the pack, but he will do everything to defend that position, and rightly so. So up the inside goes the Racing Bull on the Williams. Oh, they've tagged each other again. B Right goes back through. And they will both have DRS. F1 Parallax. Jays has made a mistake. The drivers are struggling. I think it's the medium compounds. No, because these drivers are on hards. Casper 2 seconds clear of Mirko. Good job, it's only the sprint race. Oh, Jabba did retire on track. You're right. He's crashed it. And here comes the McLaren and the Williams on the Racing Bull. They are both through, and that Racing Bull that is just limping along, and now he's got that Ferrari who was very aggressive on the Racing Bull, now behind him again, and I don't think he'll be happy about that. But they've both got wing damage. So Reese in at P3 behind Mirko. Then you've got Fanfiners. Did he get damage as well? He didn't, but then mediums. 53% with 2 laps to go. I mean, to be honest, Jeffy, I mean, you say that, but from what we saw on stream and what we saw in the race, he was an innocent bystander for most of that. I mean, it was ridiculous driving from a few of the drivers. One of them wasn't him, from what we saw. There was the drivers behind were just ridiculous dive bombing. But we'll leave it to the stewards. Here comes Cars on the back of Leo Lund. And the Racing Bull driver just going to try and squeeze the Ferrari to the inside. And Leo Lund, that is Nick, that is out. Oh, he's crashed it coming around the final corner. It's too late for a safety car though. Here comes Deadly, the Williams on the McLaren. He wants an extra couple of points, does the Williams driver. And he will just get his nose ahead of the McLaren. They're going to go through the S's. The two drivers, they do touch. The Williams leaving the space. B Right getting his elbows out there and sort of shoving the Williams aside, saying that's my position. But do you want to be the car in front going on to the final lap? Luckily, with it only being a sprint race, it's minor points. Yeah, I mean, some of it wasn't. Yeah, Dennis in P5. That was. Yeah, that was. Anyway, some of it wasn't hard racing. Some of it was way past hard racing. That was a bit silly. That. So on to the final lap. Casper is 2.5 seconds clear. Mirko and restart. We set a very high standard here at F7. Sometimes it's our own fault that we you know, oh, here comes Deadly. Wow, look at the McLaren switches to the inside at the last minute and then he brakes really early to cover him off. It's great defensive racing from B Right. But yeah, because we set the standard so high here, sometimes another league's hard racing might be our, you know, racing that we don't allow. It's, yeah, it is what it is. It's all part and parcel of the game, I suppose. Yeah, you've got a lot to answer for as well. You salute with them Mercedes. I'm just kidding. Here comes Casper around turn 12. And through the long right-hander. And Casper is going to come through. And in the sprint race, the McLaren driver is going to win the sprint here in Zandvoort. Mirko takes P2. Reese will take P3. It will be Fanfinus that will take P4, another yellow flag. And that is going to be Hackmore and then B Right. And that is Cars in the Ferrari that's round again. B Right and Deadly to the line. It will be B Right that holds on. And then Leo Lund will take the final point in P8 after Cars spun out. So that is it. It is Casper that takes the race win here in the sprint race. Mirko takes P2. I do need to write these down, so just bear with me. So in the sprint, it is Casper to Mirko to Reese to Fanfre's Hackmore to B Right, and then to Deadly, Leo Lund, CJ Lewis, Jays, Cars, Parallax, Storms, Super Turbo, the Sauber Nick, and then Jabba in the Racing Bull, and then Jeffy Boy and Epic OJ. Good drive there. Sorry about that, guys. We are back. So, I just wanted to give you guys the best viewing experience. So, what's going on, Gravanga? How we doing? Yeah, I just wanted to give you the best viewing experience so I could bring up the standings like that. So I wanted to be able to give you guys the standings whilst we are in the race. So that's how it looks, but I also updated them. So that's how it looks live currently after the sprint. So this is how the driver's standings looks, I think, anyway. Oh, B-Right's name's not in there, 1 second. There you go. So Epic OJ, who didn't qualify for the sprint, is qualifying for the feature race and is currently on a provisional pole position. F1 Parallax in P2. Nick with that qualifying ban is out. Then you've got Jays and Deadly. So we have 9 minutes of qualifying remaining. I do apologise. I've only just stopped after F2 and then F1. So cars currently on a provisional pole position in that Ferrari. 8 minutes to go in this qualifying, and then we go into the main feature race. So here comes cars. He's getting ready for another lap. We've got B-Right in the McLaren, and that is Reese that goes fastest. A 108.416 goes quicker than his teammate by 9/1000ths of a second. But then comes Casper, a 108.1. Leo Lunder's just started his lap. He's just behind B-Right, who's on a lap. So we'll ride on board with the three-time realistic world champion and see what he can do. be right going up to P2. What about Leo Lund? Sorry guys, I had to get quite a bit done there in qualifying because we've had F2 and then F1 and the standings and all that sort of stuff, and 2 separate streams and all the statistics behind me. Leo Lund goes P2. CJ retires from the race. Yellow flag through sector 1, and Leo Lund separating the 2 McLarens. That is a cracking lap from the Racing Bull. And Fanfulness will just peel off into the pit lane. So you can see our new Ultimate Endurance Championship, your UEC, on the billboards just on the floor there. That will be coming very shortly to Formula 7. It's just, you know what, I just can't. Banana, maybe I can move it to 7:30, but it's just, it's really late. Like, I struggle to try and fit in interviews on a night. I mean, it's like when I do PSGL, that starts at 8 o'clock, and by the time I finish, it's like 9:30, and then like tonight for example, I set up the computer at 5:30. It's now 8 o'clock, and I've still got 5 minutes of qualifying and a 40-minute race, so I'm not going to get out till 9, so it means that I'm going to have sat here for 3.5–4 hours commentating and streaming, and I've got to be up for 4 AM tomorrow to go and open up at work at 4:45. Yeah, I just can't make it back for 5:30. I can. I usually get home from work anywhere between 5:25 and 5:45. Anywhere between there. So every driver is in the pit lane. Now is a chance to tell you about Formula 7 racing. We do 4 races on a Sunday, tier 1, 2, 3 and 4. That is based on your pace, so whatever pace you are, there is a tier for you. Then we do LMU on a Monday, we do realistic F1 and F2 now on a Wednesday, and we do a Assetto Corsa on a Friday. And if you are looking for the perfect race setup, sim racing setups, use code F7R on checkout. Well, yeah, I'm trying to fit it all in. I mean, I spoke to a couple of the guys, a couple of the admins and stuff yesterday, and it's hard. It's really hard to try and fit everything in a week, and sometimes it feels a bit overwhelming. Sundays is brutal. Sundays is, I do not move at all from the computer all day until the end of tier 4. I get about an hour where I can eat and stuff. Other than that, I do not move from the computer from when I get up about... So no, I set up about 8:30, and then I don't move from 8:30 all the way till about 5:30, and then I jump back on at 6:30, and I don't get off till about 9. So the drivers are on the way out of the pit lane, and then now Wednesdays I'm setting up at 5:30 and not getting off till 9, and then Thursdays I'm setting up at 7:45 and not getting off till 9:30, and then Fridays I'm setting up at 7, I'm not getting off till 9, and then Mondays are the same. And there's a lot to do. But I do love it. The name title hasn't changed, is that right? It should have changed. Oh yeah, it did change. So we've got a couple of drivers on laps now with 2 minutes to go. It is Casper who is on provisional pole. We've got Leo Lund in P2, and remember, this is how the Drivers' Championship stands at the moment. And I tell you who's done well. Deadly in the Williams. Done a cracking job to be where he is. So we'll try and find the leader of the pack. B-Right is getting ready for his outlap, so is Mirko. And we've got Jays as well. And XD Storms in the Alpine will be the first of the final runners as we head out of turn 10 and up towards turn 11. He's got 2 Ferraris behind him, potentially on a lap here. So the Alpine of XD Storms. And then the Ferrari of Reese and Cars. Now they're just getting ready for a lap. So is it the Aston Martins? Hackmore has invalidated. He's only on an outlap. So is Lewis W. So we need to try and get on board with the runners. Now that is a driver that's slowing down. That is a Red Bull. That is a Haas of Super Turbo. And he is not improving. He is just about to start his flying lap. So who is going to be first? I think it's B-Right. It is going to be B-Right. To the line we go, and B-Right stays P3. He does improve, but it's not enough to improve his position. Now here comes Leo Lund. He's not on a lap yet. He's going to go again here, Leo Lund. Then you've got Casper in the other McLaren, who is improving even more. A 108.015. The 2 Mercedes will be next. Mirko and Fanfinus. The Haas of Jays as well. So that is it. The checkered flag has been waved. There's nothing more that these drivers can do. XD Storms not finding that improvement. And the Ferraris behind him of Reese and Cars. And here comes the Dutchman. And his home Grand Prix takes P4. Here comes Reese, who is improving by 2/10. Goes P2. The 2 Aston Martins of Hackmore stays P8. And Lewis W stays P12. Then you've got F1 Parallax and Jeffy Boy to the line, and Super Turbo. We have Epic OJ in the Alpine coming out of turn 14 down to the line, and he goes P8. That's a great lap from him. Leo Lund will be the final driver to the line. Can he take pole on his final run? He can. He stays P3. Leo Lund in the Racing Bull will be on the second row of the grid. Mirko had a battery bug. So, that is Casper on pole. I need to write this down. I do apologise, guys. Bear with me. Otherwise, I forget and I don't know who it is that's in them positions. I do like going through the quali as well, which annoys me that I can't do it. Right, let's get ready to rumble. Who's you think is better? Let's get ready to rumble. Oh, it's time. 5 rounds for the UFC Undisputed Middleweight Championship of the World. Anyway, here we go. For round 12, we are on a formation lap, the feature race. Here in Zandvoort. Yeah, nobody can beat an It's Time from Bruce Buffer, and I know Michael Buffer is an absolute goat with the Ready to Rumble stuff, but you can't beat the passion, the knee drop of it. It's Time. So I hope you're all ready here in Zandvoort, because I am ready. Here we go, this is it for round 12 here in Zandvoort, and it's lights out and away we go. It is Casper that cuts straight in front of Reese Dye, but look at Leo Lund who goes later on the brakes around the outside. Leo Lund already trying to battle for P2, there is yellow flags. The Ferrari shoving the Racing Bull off the track there. Cars and Mirko going side by side in towards the hairpin at turn 3. And that is a driver that is dropping down. Hackmore in P10, who is battling now with the Alpine as they are getting their elbows out. A bit of argy-bargy, and that is Fanfness that goes lunging up the inside of Cars and Mirko. Wow. And that is Mirko maybe getting damage. It is. He's losing a few positions. Here now comes Epic OJ, and Mirko at the start of this race has got front wing damage. Casper leads to Reese, to Leo. What about Mirko and Epic OJ? As Epic OJ tries to get through. Lewis W is now into the points as he scraps with Deadly. Jeffy Boy on the Alpine. The Red Bull is through. So Mirko with huge damage there on his front wing. And he's going to have to pit on the opening lap. So Casper leading to Reese, to Leo, to Be Right, to Fanfness, to Cars. I can see there being quite a few reports after this race. That is Nick into the wall. And his home Grand Prix, Nick is into the wall. So yeah, I can bit aggressive on the defence with the drivers. And Nick is out in the pit lane, and his debut ends up the way it ended at Red Bull so far. Hopefully he can start to pick up his pace and pick up the racing again, because we know how good he can be. But he's quit very early on there. Shame for the Kick Sauber team, a lot of money cost again. So Hackmore in front of Super Trubo. The problem is, oh, there goes Reese Dye on the in the Ferrari up the inside of Casper. Casper leaves him the space. Good racing between them both. Wow, and Reese was trying to cut in too early there. Nearly cost him P2. Wait, Nick's allowed to race if Harvey sacked him. Yeah, Harvey sacked him. It's only if you leave your seat you're not allowed to race. That's why Lewis is allowed to race for Aston Martin. if you voluntarily leave your seat, you can't go and then sign for another team. But if you get sacked from that team, you can go and race for another team. To be honest, though, if Kick Sauber need a bit of budget, because what you've got, the thing is with Nick is he's always so busy. He's always in a rush, and if you start off a race like this where it starts badly, he's never going to try and get back in the race. He's always going to just retire and leave. So unless the race goes his way, it's always going to cost you money. So they need to be careful with their budget. Here we go, because Nick is a very good driver. Here comes Reese again up the inside of Casper. Casper will go later on the brakes. Jeffy Boy and Mirko are going at it as well. So is Cars and Fantastic. And again, Reese turns in too early again and nearly takes out Casper. That's the second time in 2 laps that Reese has turned in quite early on the rear of Casper. Wow, he's getting fiery out there. But yes, Nick is a very good driver and can be a very good driver when he's got that mindset and the time. So the McLaren leading to the Ferrari, to the racing bull of Leo Lund. Then you've got B. Wright and Cars, Fanfordus, and then Jeffy Boy, who's 2 seconds behind. Mirko with that damage is not going to commit to a pit stop. He's going to carry on. He will lose too much time if he pits, so he'll just stay out. So Casper in the McLaren leading to Reese. 4 tenths is the gap. He's going to get another opportunity here, the Ferrari driver, and he's burning that battery right out of turn 14. Casper is going to move over surely to defend. He does, but it's too late. Reese is there. Later on the brakes goes Casper. Reese is going to try and get his foot down earlier. This time he just edges away. So you can see it's not deliberately, it's not intentional that Reese is doing that. It's the way he throttles out of turn 1. He goes out to the left. So yeah, really tricky for him, because then he's got to ease off the throttle to avoid the contact again. And then it compromises his exit. So look how close these are. DRS all the way down to P6, locked in that DRS train. This is how the Drivers' Championship stands at the moment. And that is deadly. That is Epic OJ in the Alpine losing places. Does he have damage? He doesn't. So the Aston Martin of Hackmore is through. Look how close Leo Lund is to Reese. And that is the Constructors' Championship. Mercedes are still there. And here we go. Once again, it is deja vu. Reese going for the outside this time, but he has to slam on the brakes. And now Leo Lund is all over the back of the rear diffuser of that Ferrari. As he flashes away, Casper continuing to hold on. I think an undercut here might have to be on the cards for one of these drivers. Be right watching these for. He's probably rubbing his hands together here, thinking, you know what? Let these fight. If something happens, I'll be there to just pick up the pieces. Epic OJ on Hackmore coming around turn 7. So it is McLaren, Ferrari, Racing Bull, and that is a yellow flag. I think that was just a Haas of J's at the back, or potentially CJ. Look how packed these are, like a tin of sardines as we come out of turn 14. And once again, Reese on the throttle all the way down towards turn 1, and he backs out again. He's being very patient here, is the Scuderia. And that is Epic OJ on Hackmore. Up the inside goes the Alpine on the Aston Martin. Hackmore trying everything to defend that position, but there's only so much he can do as Epic OJ returns back to his P11 position. Well, Reese, 2 tenths is the gap to the leader. 7 laps down, only 1 DNF, and that was in the pit lane. 19 drivers on the track. you can see the different ways in the way the drivers are taking this circuit. Some will take quite an early entrance, and that was a quick dive into the pit lane for Casper. He did not want the drivers to know what he was about to do. Very clever there. That means that Reese is the leader, and he's got Leo Lund that will be all over him. Where does Casper come out here? Has his engineer done himself a solid and brought him out into some clean air? I potentially think this is a perfect pit stop. He's going to come out just in front of the Haas, so he's not going to get bogged down in traffic. That's what he wanted, and he's going to get some clean air to race into. And Leo Lund and Reese, I know Leo likes to go a lot later on the tyres. He likes to extend them stints. And that is Jeffy Boy on J's. Into turn 10 we go. The Red Bull is through. And that is the Ferrari that is into the pit lane. Leo Lund stays out. We called it. B. Wright stays out. Reese and Fanfinus are into the pit lane. And the Ferrari with a good pit stop. The McLaren also with a decent pit stop and straight back out. Where are they going to come out? Let's have a look at Casper. Here comes the McLaren down the wall. And wow, he has come out way in front of these two. That undercut has probably given him around 2 seconds, I think. It has 1.7, and he's also going to be on warm tyres. So he is probably going to extend it to around 2, and then if he can keep that gap, there goes Lewis W behind Jeffy. Epic OJ in the Alpine on the back of the Aston Martin. Cars is around a second behind B. Wright, who's chasing down Leo Lund. Looking at the tyres, 50%. I'm surprised they've gone for a pit stop so early. That means they've got to be committing to the 2 stopper, surely. They can't be going in with a 1 stopper like that. And I'm surprised we've not seen these drivers stay out for a bit longer. I think Leo Lund will. He will, and B. Wright doesn't. We know that Leo loves to extend the tyres. So, Epic OJ up the inside of the Mercedes of Mirko. I tell you, if Epic OJ got into a decent seat, he would be right up there in contention for this championship this season. There goes Casper, Reese, and Cars and B. Wright are on the way out of the pit lane. Here comes Fanfinus. B. Wright is going to go side by side with his former championship competitor, and he does come out just behind him and back in that DRS range. But Fanfinus is 2 seconds behind Reese. B. Wright going quite wide there out of turn 3. These two were former teammates at one point in Tier 1, was Cars and B. Wright. They know each other very well indeed. We worked together for a long time. So Cars in the Ferrari. That glistening scarlet red under the sunshine of the Dutch state of Zandvoort. Here goes Hackner on Mirko, and Super Tuber's going to make a move as well. So the Haas is through on the Mercedes is Mirko. Mirko's still got damage. There goes Fanfinus on Cars. I don't think Cars was expecting to be overtaken by the Mercedes of Fanfinus there. So the 2 Dutch drivers on home soil going toe to toe. How are we, Jay Bentley? How are you doing? You okay? Yeah, can't let the drinks down too early. I remember winning his first race. It was in Zandvoort. So Reese, there goes Casper on Super Tuber. He does not want to get held up by the Haas, but the Haas is not going to give him an easy route through. And maybe a little bit of Ferrari bias there from Super Turbo. Yeah, he moves right over for Reese. Yeah, so they are working together. So Super Turbo holding Casper up as much as possible and then letting Reese through. Naughty, really. Here comes Reese now on Hackmore, and he's squeezing through the gap, and he has got it, but Casper will cling around the outside, and once again Reese with the exit, but Casper just about stays in front. So Epic OJ is in P2. Remember, they started on the hard compound. Casper staying in front of Reese. Here comes Hackmore and Super Turbo. And I'm wondering if that Haas will start to hold up these as well. There goes cars now on Fanfinesse. They do lock wheels. The Mercedes and the Ferrari around turn 9. That is a Mercedes that's got wide. That is Fanfinesse. No, it's Mirko with the damage. He's led his teammate through. Leo London, the racing bull, racing through. He's finally pitting. He's going to be on a lot fresher tyres come the end of this race. B-Right is clogged in this sort of traffic jam in the midfield of the pack. And they're all being held up by Hackmore. There goes Epic OJ into the lead of the Grand Prix. And now here comes Reese with the DRS. He's a lot closer than he's ever been. He goes to the outside, and the Ferrari driver is now your race leader. Here comes B-Right. They're 2 by 2 by 2. The McLaren will lead the way. It is cars on his tail. Then comes Fanfinesse. Super Turbo is off the track. Leo Lund is through, and he's going to stay with the pack. That is a yellow flag, and that is Mirko Hackmore in the pit lane. Jeffy Boy on the Haas. You know, technically, when you've got a full family working together, like Ferrari have essentially got 6 drivers here they could potentially rely on during the race. Which is interesting stuff, and it makes the other teams think about it a little bit more, think about their strategy. Do I pit and go behind a Haas? Do I pit and go behind a Sauber? You know, these are the things that these drivers have also got to take into consideration. And look at this, through the gap goes Casper as he goes in front of Jabba and in front of Reese. So the Swedish driver retakes provisional lead. A safety car now would be God's gift from heaven to Deadly. There's Epic OJ and Super Turbo on their way out of the pit lane. There goes Hackmore. And Zandvoort is not disappointing here. Uh, 2 seconds, guys, so I just need to grab a quick drink. Yellow flag and B-Right is in the pit lane. Oh, he's still got front wing damage. He's not fixed it. My goodness me, what is going on? The championship leader of B-Right is in the pit lane and he's coming out with wing damage. He's disconnected. You are kidding. And it's pitted him. Oh, it's not even sure. Oh, there he is. And it's not even fixed his wing. Yeah, he's got wing damage as well. This is awful, awful for the championship leader. He leads on 180. Leo London on 165. As it would stand, if my maths is correct, B Wright would still be leading by 3 points. Here comes Reese again on Casper, down in towards turn 1. That is how the constructors looks at the moment. Oh, Jabba disconnected. Jabba gave Benning cars damage. You are kidding me. Deadly in P7 gets through on Lewis W. That's what I always say about leaving your car. I think you did it in F2. One of the drivers did it in F2 and left the car in AI always. Just retired on track. Well, I didn't even retire, just left the session on track. So, a great battle. How are we doing, Nimble? You okay? F2 was brilliant. I don't know if you caught any of it. It was really rival. I'm getting to the point now, though. I'm hitting the sort of commentary wall. So, Casper leading by 4/10 of a second. Cars is 3.5 behind. That is Jay's on F1 Parallax into turn 1. What about Reese? Is he close enough? I don't think so. We know how this has been going for the majority of the night. And Super Turbo going through on CJ. Wow, a huge lunge down in towards turn 11 and then around turn 12 we go. Yeah, exactly, Mr. Reese. I've seen that. That was one of the things that he picked up on. So one of the drivers into the pit lane, that is Lewis W. Are we going to see 2 stoppers today? Yeah, look at the tyres. Reese's hard tyres are already on 40%, so we are going to see 2 stoppers. Are you right? On the back. Oh, fuck, more. Did cars get damaged though? No, it didn't. It would just be right. You see the Merkel. You don't see this very often. The Sauber chasing down the Mercedes. And that is Reese challenging for the lead. And Casper once again able to hold off that Ferrari tremendously well. He's so good. Casper's defensive IQ is probably up there with some of the best I've seen. The way he places his car, the way he positions the nose and the way he accelerates out of the corners, it's so good. And he's able to just keep the position even when Reese is 4/10 behind when they're coming out of turn 14. He's so good on the ball. And we can see these two with the batchet, both on 50%, both deploying. And they use it at similar times as well. Look at that. Both deploying now. Just really good. And now Reese is extremely close. This is surely back into the lead for the Ferrari driver. It is. And the McLaren will have to settle back in for P2. Still a long way to go. And the other McLaren currently in P9. He's going to have DRS on Hackmore. I think he's going to run out of racing room. He is. Back on board with the other one. Still 18 drivers in this race. Oh, that was F1 Parallax. It's out. Safety car. Virtual safety car. He's crashed it coming around turn 14, but it's only a VSC. Surely they go in and pit. They are doing. All of the drivers are getting into the pit lane. This is going to massively benefit the front runners that are going into the pits. The Ferraris are double stacking. This is going to hold cars up. This might even get Leo Lund in front of him. No, I don't think it is. I think he just about got there in time to get out in front of Leo. Leo will get a front wing plate replaced. This is massive for Leo Lund. And here comes Jeffy and Epic OJ also into the pit lane. Hackmore stays out. B-Right will come in to get that front wing replaced as well under the VSC. This is sort of a godsend for the McLarens and B-Right as well, because he can now get that front wing replaced under the VSC and fresh tyres and carry on. It doesn't help him in the grand scheme of things. The safety car is about to end. And somebody got a drive through. Oh no, I think it was just a track limit. There we go. So B right now on his way out of the pit lane in P12. He's got a lot to do from there now. But we've seen him do it before. There's a reason he's won 3 World Championships. There's a reason that he is your championship leader. He's no stranger to having to come back. Casper in P3 is now behind Reese by about a second, and he's got a Williams in his way who's also got DRS. But Casper with the straight line speed and the battery will get in front and chase down that Ferrari once more. The thing is, that helps Casper because he was 1 lap older tyres. Now he's on the same. Leo Lund getting through on the Aston Martin. Hackmore, the Belgium driver, just resorting back to P6 for now. A late safety car would really throw this up in the air still. You just don't know what's going to happen. That is B right through on Mirko. Mirko's still got that damage, or has he had it fixed? He's had it fixed. He seems quite a lot slower though, Mirko, at the moment. I'm not sure what's happened to his pace. And to see the Mercedes when they are second in the Constructors, sitting in P12 and P14, is not where their team principal would have wanted to see them. Deadly is in an incredible position here, you know. He really is. I cannot believe he's managed to get into P3. Yes, he's not pitted. Yes, he will need to pit, but it's still a really good position. Leo Lund is starting to turn up the heat, and he sets the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. Mirko is starting to catch back up to be right. Out of turn 14, he'll get the DRS. The rear wing wide open, and the Mercedes driver will take P11 back off B right. Yellow flag again. That is another VSC, and that is a Mercedes. It's Fanfrenes and his home Grand Prix that has spun it around turn 14. And does he have damage? I don't know, but he's got old tyres. No, he doesn't have damage. I don't know how he's come away from that unscathed, and he just creeps into the pit lane. He's about to be lapped. This is unbelievable. Fanfrenes is the world champion here in Formula 7 Realistic, and he's being lapped by Casper and Reese. Casper up the inside to retake the lead of this Grand Prix. Cars is now all over the back of that Williams, who's doing a splendid job. One-tenth is the gap. CJ into the pit lane. Only Fanfrenes with the penalty. There goes Mirko and B right. And the Mercedes cleanly around the outside there. Very nicely done. That was Lewis W, who will overtake CJ coming out of the pit lane. How we doing, Bjorn? Your Ferrari family drivers doing a great job working together. There goes cars through on deadly. So the two Ferraris now in the podium places. That is Reese and Cars in P2 and P3. Potentially P1 and P3. Another yellow flag. Here comes Reese up the inside of Casper. And Reese back into P1. It is just like, it is back and forth every single lap. But the one that matters is the one on lap 36. That is where it will count and matter the most. And the other McLaren of B right on Mirko. No, just backs out at the last minute. You can see the tyre lives. And we can see the tyre delta at the moment. So if we jumped on board with, say, Casper and Reese, who have just not long pitted, if they went onto fresh softs, they would be around a 1.7 seconds a lap quicker. If they went onto fresh mediums, no, that doesn't work, does it? Here we go, Casper on Reese. We'll go the long way round, and Reese will stick his nose there just to try to defend. It's been an epic battle between these two, the Ferrari and the McLaren. But it is the McLaren that comes out in front again. Fanfulness, ignoring blue flags, has picked up a time penalty. What blue flags is he ignoring? Who was that? Was that an Aston Martin? It was Hackmore. And he was blocking him, and he's picked up a time penalty for it. So Leo Lund is going to move up to P4 shortly when he catches this Williams. What's going on, Zora? How are we doing? What did I miss? A lot, actually. Casper will stay in the lead. 10 laps to go. It's Fanfulness with another penalty, and he is out in the pit lane. Such a shame for the Mercedes, and the world champion is practically out of the runnings now. With that, he will be more than 100 points behind the leader, and the world champion's title defence is probably coming to an end here at his home Grand Prix in the Netherlands. And he can probably say goodbye to that. Mirko still has a chance. The Mercedes in the constructors as well were looking strong, but with that DNF, so Reese and Casper continuing to duel for the lead. And at the moment, the Papaya is the one coming out on top. That is Hackmore into the pit lane for his final pit stop. B right is only a singular point. Yeah, real shame for the McLaren driver, be right. Although he still will be the championship leader as it stands. He would still be leading by 2 points, I think, if my maths is correct. Sorry guys, I've trying to get a drink and everything. It's tough when you start. No, it isn't. It's enjoyable, but it's just long. I'm sat here from 5:30 doing commentary for F2 and then F1. But there've been some cracking races, so it's kept me on my toes. Very exciting. Super Trooper and Lewis W just giving each other a little shake there. Give yourself a wee shake. Yeah, give yourself a wee shake. Casper leading to Reese in the Ferrari. Half a second is the gap with 8 laps remaining here in the Netherlands. For round 12, that is a yellow flag, that is an Alpine. Reese is going to go up the inside. The McLaren of Casper gives him way enough room there. Oh no, that was close on the exit. Deadly does finally pit and come in for his second stop. He's going to be on fresh tyres till the end of this race. Here comes Jeffy on Epic OJ. Yeah, Leo's got the freshest tyres of a lot of them as well, Zora, so if we look at tyres. Oh, he hasn't. Oh, they all pitted under the virtual safety car. Jeffy Boy on Epic OJ, who's in P5. Some good points for the Alpine here. Yes, there's a good chance, Zora. It'll be a good battle till the end. And there goes Reese again into the lead. Wheel to wheel go the McLaren and the Ferrari. And they now start getting a bit aggressive. And that was Casper that was on to the gravel, losing a little bit of time and kicking up the dirt. And Car's only 3.5 seconds behind now. Can the Dutchman start to close that gap to these two phenomenal drivers in front? Leo Lund as well, only 6 seconds back. Here comes Jeffy Boy and Epic OJ. They've got a Haas driver coming out of the pits. Luckily for them, he didn't come out in front of them. Otherwise, they might have been held up again from the Haas driver. Tactical work from all involved tonight. So Jays, he will continue to race and continue to plod along and get to the end of the race. And Reese and Casper, so do I. Reese, 4 attempts clear, coming out of turn 14. Just 6 laps to go. Who is going to win? Is it going to be Reese? Is it going to be Casper? Is it going to be Kars? There goes Casper again. And the man from Sweden will retake the lead on the exit. The Ferrari just trying to come back. He does close the gap as we head down in towards turn 3. Now it's getting a little bit tasty between the pair of them. This is close racing. It's beautiful racing. And it's top quality, top tier racing between the pair of them. As we come around turn 6 in towards turn 7, the drivers are so defensive. Their IQ for defensive racing is so good. They are getting very aggressive, Zora, and you will find that when it comes to the end of the race. And then the difference between 25 points and 18 is huge in the grand scheme of things. You've got to remember Casper is defending his teammate's championship lead here, because if Reese wins this race, Reese is going to close that gap significantly. 151, he'll then go on to 176 points with B Wright going on 182. That means it brings the gap down to 6 points instead of 29. So here we go again. Reese in the Ferrari into the slipstream, and he will retake the lead of the Grand Prix. B Wright needs to get some moves as well and just try and work his way up the grid. But the grid is so far apart now. A late safety car is pretty much impossible unless it came on this lap, and this lap only. We are on lap 32 of 36. Ben leading with 2 points now. Yeah, he still would be leading with 2 points as it stands. So B Wright would still come out of this race as the leader. But Casper would do his teammate a solid favour here by taking the race victory. T's just come as well. Right. So Reese in the Ferrari leading to the McLaren. Once again, an epic showdown here in the Netherlands. Does Casper hold? He does hold. This is going to be interesting. Do you take the lead? Do you want to be the lead car going on to the final lap? Or do you want to be the car behind? Because if you're the car in front, you can really shove your car into a defensive position and say, nope, you're not getting through. And if you're the attacking car, you can make that lunge up the inside. But you need the battery. You need to get the exit out of turn 14. I'm surprised we're not seeing Reese slow Casper down here to try and bring cars into the race, if I'm being completely honest with you, Zora. They all retired in the pit lane. Yeah, I'm surprised that we've not seen Reese just sort of slow down, like into the chicane here at turn 12, turn 11 and 12. I'm surprised you're not seeing him slow down and try and bring that Ferrari back in. But he's also got to think about the race victory. So around turn 13 and 14, the gap 4 tenths. This is a good lap for Reese. There goes Mirko in the Mercedes, and he will go through on Deadly. Has Deadly made a mistake? He has, because he's got fresh tyres, and there goes the lead. Again, it is Reese and Casper on lap 34. It is Casper that comes out on top, and the McLaren is your race leader with 3 laps to go. What happened to Deadly? He made a huge mistake. He's got fresh tyres as well. Or he went on softs. No, he didn't. He went on mediums. But they're already on 43%. Here comes B Wright. Here comes Hackmore to join the fun. The Aston Martin driver. Reese, does he want to be the car behind? He is charging up that battery. They both are. They are both charging the battery for that final run. B Wright does not want Hackmore getting through and deducting them 2 points down to 1. So he will have to hold position here. And the McLaren is struggling. 80% on them tyres. 50% for Hackmore. I did not realise that B Wright's tyres were that old. Wow. Yeah, that'll be really hard to hold on. There goes Reese on lap 35. The Ferrari driver on the penultimate lap is your race leader. He's doing what he needs to do here in Zandvoort. B Wright's trying to hold on to that P9 with that Aston Martin all over the back of him. Here comes Jeffy Boy in the Red Bull. Down the inside in towards turn 1. He backs out. Epic OJ goes late on the brakes. Cuts off the Red Bull driver of Jeffy Boy. Shuts the door on his face. Now here comes the Aston Martin on the papaya. And it is Hackmore, the Belgian driver, that is through on the Brit. The 3-time world champion down to P10. So we are on the penultimate lap of this Netherlands Grand Prix. Who is going to win? Is it going to be Casper? Is it going to be Reese? I can't see his tyre wear, Zora, because he hides it. So Reese in the Ferrari. This is it. Going on to the final lap of the race. They are going to open that DRS. He's going to burn the battery. We're going to go all the way down towards turn 1. Here comes Casper. He's going to go later on the brakes. The McLaren driver will take the lead of the Grand Prix on the very last lap of the race. It is getting really aggressive between the pair of them, but it is the papaya that proceeds into P1. Reese will do everything in his power to pip him to the line. There goes Jeffy Boy on Epic OJ up the inside. Goes the Red Bull and Epic OJ is demoted. Deadly in the Williams is up to P7. Hackmore is through. B-Right's already lost 4 seconds. He just wants to get to the line. He is very, very close to puncher territory. I mean, looking at his tyre wear, what is he on now? 84, 81%. And Casper looks like he's done his teammate a huge favour here. So the McLaren coming in towards turn 13 and 14. And it will be the McLaren that comes out of the final corner and down towards the checkered flag. And it is Casper that wins here in Netherlands. Reese will take P2. Cars will finish on the podium in P3. Leo Lund takes P4. Some valuable points for him as well. Here comes Epic OJ on Jeffy. Can he pick up some extra points? It's going to be close. He's got the DRS. Oh, he spun it! Coming out the final corner, he's held on. My goodness me, Epic OJ is held on. Here comes Hackmore and Mirko. All the way down to the line. They stay in position. B-Right limping to the finish line. And he takes P10 and the final point goes to McLaren. Lewis W will take P12. That was a great ending to the race. There you have it. On the top step is Casper at the Dutch Grand Prix. In P2 is Reese and P3 is Cars, a double Ferrari podium. So let's have a look through the final standings and then I'm going to shoot off, guys. I do apologise about the non-commentary, but I've been sat here for 3 hours and 40 minutes. Casper wins from pole position. Then you've got Reese that finishes in P2 and Cars in P3. Then you've got Leo Lund in P4, Jeffy in P5, Epic in P6, Deadly in P7, Mirko in P8, Hackmore in P9 and B-Right, your championship leader, in P10. Then comes Super Turbo Lewis, CJ Jays, XD Storms, the Racing Boy Jabba. And then comes Fanfresh, Parallax and Nick, your driver of the day. I don't usually give it to the leader, but I'm going to this week. I think Casper drove a sublime Grand Prix. There you have it, guys. I will get everything posted. I'm going to eat my tea, have a drink, take a break after 3 hours and 40 minutes, and I will get everything posted shortly. Thank you all so much for watching, everybody. I really appreciate it. Thank you for your support. We do have a break this weekend in our tier divisions because of the Easter weekend. So have a great Easter, everybody. Enjoy it. Spend time with your family and friends. Spend time with your loved ones. And have a great Easter bank holiday weekend. And I will see you back here in a week.